Hey everybody, Aaron here. Welcome back to another anime review. Today we look at Taboo Tattoo episode 6. So, this episode was actually probably one of the best episodes I've seen so far this season, to be honest with you. I actually enjoyed a lot of the story concepts. I enjoyed the fighting. I enjoyed the comedy for once. Overall, just a very solid episode. I really did think it was probably the best of the season so far. Because honestly, this guy right here, Blood, he kicks ass. Like, this guy is so awesome. He's probably one of the coolest characters. Segi was my top character right now, but this guy is definitely my top character. And he's definitely got a very important part, it looks like, in the story. But anyways, let's talk about what's going on with this episode. So we have Blood, who's telling Segi that he did at one time work for the enemy. He worked for Kingdom originally, but for various reasons, and he doesn't go into detail about that, he claims that he left Kingdom at one point and then switched to, his own kind of independent group, or more so, he doesn't really per se specifically say who he's working for, but he now plans to taking down Kingdom. He doesn't want to be anything part of them. He wants to take them down from the inside out. So he's actually telling Segi that this place that they're at right now, he dragged him off to when he beat them last episode, which is when we saw at the very end of the credits him fighting Segi. He knocked him out, brought him to this place. He goes, I want to take down this place. This is apparently a place where they are designing tattoos and also designing research things that are associated with tattoos. So he wants to bring it down. Now, as they're running through the place and various things are happening in this episode. By the way, a lot of fan service in the one part, so I'm gonna have to put an image up of something else to kind of show what I'm talking about in a couple minutes. But I'll explain when I get there. But we learned one major aspect is that we learned tattoos are not artificially created. They were more so created by some source outside of even human knowledge. There are places that tattoos were originated from, called ruins, and there are apparently 4 in existence. There's one in the U.S. There's 2 others that are in unknown locations, but they are known by Kingdom, and then the last one is supposedly in Japan, which is why he is so hell bent on making sure that it does not fall into hands completely. But he realizes at one point, and as he realizes this is the truth going on, right now, the princess is actually going to the ruin in Japan. She's going inside of it right now as we speak. And what's bad about that is that she now has control over 3 out of the 4. Now, we will learn eventually what that actually entails, but until then, let's introduce to a new character also, called Mr. Genius, or Karam as he's actually known. Now, Karam, or Mr. Genius, because I think Mr. Genius is a freaking awesome name, it's so stupid. He is a developer of tattoos, but he's more so a developer of copy tattoos. He is trying to make a tattoo that is very similar to original source tattoos in the sense that they have the same power, because as we learned earlier, tattoos that are copies don't have the same exact power as, of course, an original copy. So he's trying to go against that, and he shows off that he's made units that apparently have that ability, that their source tattoos are supposedly so much better, or their copy tattoos are so much better than the source tattoos, that he unleashes all of them. And then he gives Blood and Segi an ultimatum. If you knock them out, there are bombs inside of them that will activate. So if they all knocked out, that means they'll explode, thus killing the host and probably killing, Segi and Blood at the same time. Now, as the fight goes on, Blood is telling Segi the whole time, you have to be willing to fight, you have to be willing to know your opponent, he's basically teaching him and coaching him on how to fight and how to be, quote unquote a hero. And what's funny is at one point he uses his void power to obliterate all the bombs inside the hosts at the same time, knock them out. And he tells, Mr. Genius that he has the resolve to force his own justice on others. He is willing to do anything he has to do. And he tells Segi that you can't be afraid to do what you have to do. Now, Segi takes this originally as, oh, he's going to kill them. He doesn't want that to happen. But all he does is knock them out. He says they'll face their own justice, and that's it. He goes, he doesn't kill people. You could see Segi really adore Blood now, just for the fact that he sees a true hero in him, just what Segi wants to be. Segi has always quoted since the very beginning of the series how much of a hero he wants to be and how much a hero is trying to be. And here it is, like the living embodiment of what he wants and wishes to be. Now, meanwhile, we see that Blood, though, however, has an ulterior motive of sorts. This guy right here, if you don't remember what he looked like because he was actually homeless in the beginning of the show, or looked homeless, was aka the wise man, the one who gave Segi his tattoo originally. And he is working with Blood apparently to try to keep him alive. According to him, Blood's meant to die early on, despite having regenerative powers as the tattoos have. He is still going to die because apparently it doesn't extend your life, or it does weird things with your life in general. And over the course of the episode, we'll learn more about what that is too. Now, Segi and Blood begin training. I'm not going to show the whole sequence of that, but he shows how much he has control of his tattoo to the point that he even can make a little hole appear in a piece of hair. That's how much control he has over his void abilities, and he wants Segi to get like that too. Now, after the training has commenced and all that, Blood and Izzy actually are met up together, and apparently they know each other from way back when. Izzy talks about how apparently she really loved Blood, or more so not, I don't want to say the sense of loved, but more so admired him. Maybe probably from what the various scenes coming after this part right here. I didn't show all of them, of course, but you could probably apply that she does have strong feelings for him, maybe romantically, maybe a little more than that, but who knows? But what's interesting is that Blood, I guess, worked with Izzy for a while, and they were very close at one time, like I said. And he left her for various reasons. We again don't know. Maybe Izzy did not always work for the government, the U.S. government. Maybe she worked for the kingdom, or maybe she worked for a kind of mercenary type contract. Who knows? I'll probably explain it later on. But he warns Izzy that he knows the true plan of Kingdom, and that is to activate all 4 ruins. And she goes, "Well, what is that going to do?" That will allow the person who is controlling all 4 ruins to actually alter the world. And to completely alter the world using the tattoo power. So that's very interesting. I mean, what can you do per se? I guess you could erase and reconfigure a lot of things, because as we've seen, tattoos have a lot of powers. We've seen the ability to erase everything. We've seen the ability with gravity. We've seen various other things. So it's definitely very interesting to say the least. Now, back to the Wise Men and Blood. Essentially, what we learned is the Wise Man has created a machine which allows the additions of tattoos, which apparently is not a possibility, but apparently with this machine, you can actually add on tattoos to the user. And that's very interesting. I mean, what does Blood plan to do? Because he does say that Segi's very important. He wants to train him to get stronger. Does he plan on taking Segi's power when he gets to his full power and full strength and use it as his own? I'm just very curious. I'm very curious about this. Now, I added this next scene only because it was funny. I mean, it's not the last scene of the show, but I think it was funny. Toka clearly loves Segi. I really hope, this is just my hope right here, I hope she ends up with Segi at the end, because, I mean, they seemed really close to one another. They seem to like each other, and I'll be so pissed off if he ends up with Izzy. I mean, honestly, I know, I say Izzy's better. I'm not saying Toka's better than Izzy. I'm just saying not to ship these characters. I know people hate that, but I would like these 2 characters together. I mean, if it doesn't happen, it doesn't happen, but I honestly think that Toka should be with Segi, because, I mean, they have love going on. They really do. That'd be such a shame if they don't. Now, after the credits, if you watched after the credits, there is another player that shows up, it seems like, and he is searching for Braum. So that's very interesting who this guy is. He also looks really freaking creepy. Just say that right now. But anyways, guys and girls, that's it for my review of Taboo Tattoo I said tattoo twice. Taboo Tattoo episode 6. I will talk to y'all later. Have a good day, everyone. Bye-bye.